All right, joining me now to discuss, Michael Maslansky. He spends his time working with companies with political campaigns on language, thinking a lot about what works and what doesn't. Michael, thank you so much for being here.
Great to be here, Kasie.
So clearly that word weird is something that took off. It's something that clearly Kamala Harris and Tim Walz think is resonating with people that they're talking to. And it seems to clearly be under the skin of J.D. Vance and Donald Trump. How do you see how this has kind of become its own? Because Walz kind of went out there and started it, right, when he was basically campaigning on television to become the vice presidential nominee, and it's stuck. Why?
Well, so first, I mean, I think former President Trump is the master at this. And so it's interesting that this is probably the first time since he's been on the political scene that there's a term that has been used against him so effectively. And I think the word weird has become amazing. It's really for three reasons. First, Donald Trump hates it. In 2016, the Democrats tried to use bully on Donald Trump, but he loved being called a bully. It was actually a badge of honor. And so it didn't work. He doesn't want to be called weird. And so it's definitely getting under his skin. The Dems have had a tremendous amount of discipline. You see it all over the place, as we saw in that opening montage and many other places. So it got repeated to the point that the media picked it up. And then the Trump and Vance campaign have tried to rebut it. And the first rule of PR really is don't repeat the negative. And effectively what they're doing is they're saying, I know you are, but what am I? Didn't work on the schoolyard. Doesn't work now to try and rebut the term.
Very interesting way to think about it. So one of the other things that we have been talking a lot about since Biden decided not to run again and Kamala Harris has gone to the top of the ticket is how optimism and hope, joy is kind of the word that their campaign has used, how that contrasts with a message that's more fear-based. And some of that you can see in some of the political slogans that we most remember from our presidents over the years. Let's take a look at some of them, going back to Ronald Reagan's Morning Again in America. Let's watch.
It's morning again in America.
Change has come to America.
We're here because we are taking the first steps, and we're taking them in a contract with the American people.
That's why the second bill is the so-called Build Back Better plan.
We will very quickly make America great again.
So obviously we ended on Make America Great Again, which is a little bit of a backward-looking, kind of turns it on its head. But I'm curious what you think and how you see the Walz-Harris campaign taking a sort of positive, forward-looking view of the country versus the way Trump is running now and how that plays with voters.
Yeah, well, I would say in those examples and in most campaigns, the candidate with the most positive, optimistic vision for the future, the one that resonates most with the American people, is the one that wins. And I got in a lot of trouble for this at the time, but my take on Make America Great Again was that it was a very positive slogan for Trump voters and even people on the fence. This cycle in 2024, Trump has been decidedly negative. He has used Make America Greater than ever before, but I don't think it feels like it's new enough. But the Harris-Walz campaign, they've really kind of tapped into this joy. They've tapped into kind of a positive fighting for freedom as opposed to threatening democracy, which was the way that the Biden campaign had really framed it. And so they understand that this, from her laugh to his enthusiasm to the words that go with it, really have a powerful impact on voters.
Well, and the slogan that has clearly resonated with Harris and the people, the crowd she's talked to is this, "We're not going back," which was something that let's watch when she talked to the crowd in Milwaukee and she used this, and you can see how people reacted to it. Watch.
We are not going back. Not going back. We're not going back. We are not going back.
Like, you can almost see her react there in real time to the crowd feeding off of that. But that we're not going back seems to play into this same phenomenon.
Absolutely. I mean, first of all, it's kind of wildly difficult to predict exactly which phrase, which idea is going to capture the imagination of the people. Companies do a lot of testing of it. Politicians do a ton of testing of it. Sometimes it is testing it out on the campaign trail and seeing how people respond to it. But this, you can kind of see her at the head of a march with that kind of slogan, and it is motivating. It feels positive. It feels energizing. It is kind of reminiscent of Yes We Can in many ways, in just that the kind of the feeling that it has behind it.
All right, Michael Maslansky for us this morning. Michael, very grateful for your time and expertise. I appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Kasie.